some kind of glitch in the connection to Facebook Live. So I'm just going to record it, and I'll just pop it on later.
Okay.
So everyone, sorry for there's some technical difficulties with Facebook Live, and so it's been going on and off. So again, we're here with Chief Servant Officer of Nehemiah Project, Patrice Segay, and we're talking about innovation for your business. So between now and the August Nehemiah Week, we're going to try and be on here every Friday morning at this time to do a 10-minute conversation with Chief Servant Officer Patrice Segay. So Patrice, share me that story once again. I'm sorry about the glitch, but share me that story again about the company that did make some steps to improve.
Yeah, so right before cell phones came on, I had some friends who had invested in Payphones and also invested in, back then they used to have the 1-900 and 1-800 numbers. Mm-hmm. Those were the days where, before internet, right now we understand with, content monetization with the internet.
Yeah.
Back then, as I think about it, those are the early days of content monetization, where you actually bought a 1-900 or 1-800 number. No, 1-900. 1-900 was free. 1-900 they paid for. You bought that number, and you had a recorded content where people call in, and they'll hear the content, and they'll be paying by the minute. That's how you earn money.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the first thing that happened is the internet happened, and that took that out of business. So people have bought all these numbers,
mm-hmm.
and it became useless.
Yeah.
But then with cell phones came, and guess what? The payphone service. People were investing in payphones. Like if you had an apartment building, you'll invest in a payphone down there or whatever the case may be, because it was a quarter. Remember, a quarter to make a call, and then you made a quarter like every minute or whatever.
Yeah.
And so it's like part of innovation. It's also being aware of what innovations are happening around you, which could have a direct impact in your business or your business model.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that was a kind of a dovetail off of my initial comments before we kind of looks like we went Facebook Live kind of kicked us off. But when one of my first consulting clients in business for 40 years and refused to put on voicemail because that's how they did business for 40 years. And ultimately, even those, and so, the phone potential customers would call, and if no one's at the desk, the receptionist isn't at the desk, it would just ring and ring and ring, and they wouldn't even do call forwarding to somebody else in the office. So the receptionist either was there or not, and if she wasn't there, if she was on the other line, it's just going to keep ringing. If she just wasn't at her desk because she went to the bathroom, it's going to keep ringing. and so they refused to change. So innovation in your business. So I think that's a great example of looking at technology and seeing how, you got to be aware of technology, the changes in technology, and that's constant these days. But also innovation doesn't always have to be about just technology itself, but it's just about doing something different in your business that's going to change the trajectory. Because we're always looking for an edge in your business, right? So it can involve technology. It doesn't always have to, but definitely you gotta, I think to your point, Patrice, with the example, was be aware of just the changing environment in the industry, in the marketplace, right? And just, you have to be aware of those things. So Patrice, what's a good scripture verse, another example that will help a business owner that's listening right now to help innovate their business, to take their business to a next level of trajectory in the growth?
Well, let me deal with the scripture first. Incidentally, today I'm here at the CFD companies in Kokomo, Indiana, and I'll be doing I'm doing a keynote on developing a growth culture, and part of a growth culture is a culture of innovation. And so, and since we're going to be just talking about this today, so the scripture verse that I'd like to leave our audience with is Ecclesiastes 1:9. And it's an interesting passage because it almost counterintuitive when you think with innovation. It says this: that which has been will be, and that which is done is what will be done. And it concludes with this: and there's nothing new under the sun. There's nothing new under the sun. And so you would ask the question, well, what does that has to do with innovation, right? Mm-hmm. When you think about there's nothing in the sun, and that's the edge you got to have, guys. You've not, most things have been developed already. but the key is that we innovate, right? And so we are amazing innovators. And if you could really tap into that sense of how do you leverage existing tools, existing processes and concepts, and just tweak them a little bit. Think outside the box, right? You can become an innovator. So innovation is not about inventing anything, but it's about doing things unique, different, and new.
Yeah, that's good. And I actually like to use the phrase "think within the box," meaning that there are always some limitations into our business, maybe resources. And I think to your point, instead of look outside and try to bring something in to create innovation, look within and then change and then improve. Innovative. So because we always have some parameters and boundaries.
That's right.
And so, but too many times we're always looking outside the box. The answer's over there. Right. But to your point is that the answers are usually within. I think God's already given each one of us all the gifts and skills and talents to actually improve.
Yeah, we got to tap in the gift within us, essentially. Exactly. I mean, that's what, as coaches, we really help people to tap into their inner potentials of the individuals and of organizations, so that they can excel to their fullest potentials.
Yeah. Good. So what's another example you can use to that scripture, maybe with a client or past biblical entrepreneurship student or just your own self?
Well, I mean, I'll give an example. We dealing with a situation right now. I'll give you two examples. I do a client example. We're dealing with a client right now. Kingdom business have been growing tremendously and recently is facing some growth issues. And the issue they're facing is that they outgrew their capacity and they outgrew their standard operating procedures. Right. And as a result of that, their customer service went lacking. And as a result of that, they begin to have some internal customer retention issues. So growth actually caused them more problems. They first had cash flow problems and then led to customer problems. And now what happens as you try to fix the cash flow problems, then you have customer problems. And when you have customer problems, guess what happens to the cash flow problems? It gets worse. So you're going to have that cycle. So what we did in this case is look within, go back to your point. And it was interesting. So this particular company, they have a software, which we find in most organizations, that could have managed their growth. They had the tool. The utilization value, we have not done a scientific measurement for this, was about less than 10%. And they're paying every month for this software.
Yeah.
So just by using what they have, so in less than a couple of weeks, they'll learn that, wait a minute, this could actually do everything we needed. Right? But it means we got to think differently, because innovation is about thinking differently. Right? And so in like a couple of weeks, the innovation leap of that organization literally was like they grew a year because of just uncovering what they had. And so now we're building a whole framework around it.
Awesome.
One of the things that people struggle as to, they don't want to innovate because innovation requires change, right? In this case, they have to change how they do things, right? To not use the system. And second, innovation is costly, right? So in this case, it costs you time. And in this case, we have to invest some money in leveraging properly the two. And that's what we don't innovate, because they don't want to change how they change their thinking, change their actions, don't want to change money. And we face the same thing with my project, our own organization, and KBC. I mean, we're constantly changing. That's one of the things that our team, maybe for good or bad, right? But even within us, personally, I don't think we change fast enough. We're a very changing organization, but the pace of change must be in line with the team you have. Now, I think my team probably thinks the pace of change is probably very rapid, right? And so I have to calibrate it. So what I've learned is, how do you calibrate change in a way that's not disruptive, but elevates, right? And that requires that dynamic. How do you stay in that zone where you're flexible, where you're agile,
Mm-hmm.
right? Where you're changing enough to be relevant, but at the same time, your core tenets remain the same and you're perfecting over time. And so that's something that I've had to learn. It's like I played basketball. You know, with basketball, you got to find a rhythm.
Mm-hmm.
Once you find your play rhythm, right, then you become agile. The great players like Michael Jordan, they found their rhythm. And when you find your rhythm, you're not flowing, right, with the wave, right? You're aligned. And that's the key. I think innovation is about finding that rhythm. And that's kind of what we've been evolving to in the last couple of years. And we're better there today than we've ever been. But we are still not there yet.
Mm-hmm.
And when you find that innovative rhythm and you found that culture, you create that culture where that innovation spirit is really real and really active. Here's what you start noticing. You start noticing that your return on investment gets higher. You hit momentum, right? You create margin. And then guess what? Your people are having fun.
Yeah. Good. So I think the moral of the story, with innovating your business is going to take some level of change, and you're going to have to deal with it because things are always changing around us. I mean, when you look at even how we communicate, I mean, just doing this Zoom and doing this thing on Facebook Live, you need to be aware of what's going on and take advantage of what's in front of you. Otherwise, other people in your industry will, and then you get left in the dust by doing things just the old way because that's how we've done it. That was always the excuse from that one client. Whenever we propose some changes, they say, well, that's not how we do it. We've done it this way for 40 years. And I'm like, well, okay, your business is going down. So clearly whatever it was 40 years ago, it's not working now. But sometimes people are more comfortable in their misery than they are with just adapting to change. Because change there's a level of fear that you have to kind of get over and then move forward, regardless of the level of the intensity of the change, right? Because even small changes can be very uncomfortable for certain people.
Yeah. What I said, we become addictive to the current suffering.
Right. Yeah.
And we don't want to let that bugger go, man. Yeah. That's my constant companion.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's leave it at that. Everyone, don't be comfortable. Let's say that again. Don't be addicted to your suffering.
Your current suffering, yeah.
Don't be addicted to your current suffering. So that's the theme for this conversation. So if you remember anything from this Facebook Live, just remember that. Don't be addicted to your current suffering. You're going to just make some change. If you're looking for improvements, the answers aren't always just on the outside for things that you don't have. The answers are usually right inside. They're just going to take a different way of looking at it. And sometimes you're just going to have to bring someone like Patrice or myself, just another coach or just another third party to look at things from an objective standard. Because when you're in your business too much, you just can't see it, right? You're just too blind to it. So Patrice, thank you for this first Facebook Live. I'm sure it's going to help those that have listened. And hey, everyone, you know what? Just comment if you want to hear more. If there's something specific to your business, I mean, throw it down there. We've got, I don't know how many weeks between now and Nehemiah Week, but I'm sure we'll have time to cover it because it'll give us great content to be able to talk off. But we're always going to want to leave you with some nugget to help you improve your business every Friday morning. All right. And then you also we'll see the link right below or above, depending on how it's showing up on your Facebook feed, the link to the Nehemiah Project website and specifically to Nehemiah Week, because we'd love to have you there at Nehemiah Week in DC in August because it's the 20th anniversary for Nehemiah Project, right?
Yes, it is. 20 years ago, we began this journey.
And I think I've been involved with you guys, I think maybe half that time.
Half of that time. Yeah.
So we're going to be back to the birthplace of Nehemiah Project, right? Because that's basically essentially that area where it started.
That's where we started.
And
I did a write-up. I did a write-up the other day to our sponsors about that time, Robert. Mm-hmm. And 25 years ago, I was 21 years old, and I was running a youth and leadership organization, and I was not a Christian. Mm-hmm. And so within 5 years, all this stuff happened, right? And I saw a Washington Post article that was written about our work 25 years ago. I was 21 years old, did this quote, and then little did I know at that moment, I was about social change, and little did I know that within a couple of years from there, that I would literally, my whole world would turn upside down, and I'll be on a whole nother trajectory.
Wow. Well, God had his hand on you even when you're a heathen, huh?
I'm telling you, I like to, I said I was as good as you can get while being unsafe.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, God can use everybody. So awesome. So 20-year anniversary. We'd love to have you all celebrate. And not only do we have a great lineup, we also have a tour of the Bible Museum, which I've been there as well. I know, Patrice, you've been there. It's top notch. I mean, I think, a lot of times, especially when it comes to movies, anytime a Christian has his hand on things, there's always this criticism of it's not done very well.
That's right.
This one was definitely done very well. I was very impressed by this museum.
They spare no cost, man.
Yeah, exactly. It was awesome. So anyways, everybody, thanks for tuning in on this first Facebook Live. Make sure you put on your calendar for next Friday at the same time. Hopefully we'll address the Facebook Live glitch. But in the meantime, have a great weekend. God bless. Thank you, Patrice, for joining us. And we'll see you next week and have a great conference.
Thank you, Robert. God bless you, man.
All right.
Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.